I think I speak for everybody whenever I say we need Battlefront 3. Even though we probably won't get it, I can still dream, bro. Come on. Whenever I look at the modern Battlefront games, all I see is wasted potential. These are great games, but they could do so much more. And today we're going to be talking about what Battlefront 3 needs to have. Before we get into it though, I gotta beg real quick, if you would like, subscribe, all that stuff the YouTubers tell you to do, I would really appreciate it and it would help me out a lot. Alright, back to it. Okay, the big thing that they need to add to Battlefront 2, this is kind of a lame, boring pick, but it's more characters. Like, dude, why do we have BB9E but not Ahsoka or Mace Windu? Like, what are you doing? You're selling so hard. Can I play as Jabba the Hutt, please? Because, like, here's the thing. Yeah, the modern Battlefront 2, they have a lot of characters, but they have, like, a lot of random characters, like BB9E, as I just said. You know, like, if they didn't want to release Battlefront 3, I'd be completely fine if they wanted to remake the original Battlefront 2, because that's one of the greatest games ever made. But yeah, we need more characters. Speaks for itself. They should add Din Djarin too. Din Djarin is absolutely him. They should add Jar Jar Binks too. That'd be kind of fire. Speaking of Jar Jar Binks, they need to add Qui-Gon Jinn too. Just more like characters with lightsabers. That's all we want. More Jedi, more Sith, all that. Because me personally, whenever I play as a hero, I never play as a hero with a blaster. I always go with the lightsaber, except for like Bosk. Also, speaking of heroes, we need 1v1 hero battles, please. That would be so fire. And have like game chat be on too. Brother, tell me that would not be sick. That would be fire. Okay, we have another basic one, but more maps, please. Please just give us Mustafar, bro, please. And make a Jedi Temple map like they had in the original Battlefront 2. That's like my favorite map in the entire game. And low-key, an Exegol map would be fire. I know the sequels suck, but you cannot tell me that Exegol isn't a fireplace. Also, I would kind of like if they had like a ground vehicle mode. Like what I mean by that is like you have AT-ATs, AT-STs, all that stuff, and everybody's just in a vehicle and they fight each other. Not like a space combat, but you know what I mean. Also, oh my god, they need to add some Old Republic stuff, please. Add stuff from Star Wars Legends, like add Abeloth in there, but add more than like 3 different eras. What I mean by that is like, you know how they only have the Republic, the Rebellion, and the Resistance? They should add something like the Old Republic or like the Ashes of the Empire, something of that nature, and make like a Mandalorian faction for the Old Republic. Now, will EA do that? No chance. That's too much work for them. But we can only dream, right? Something else they need to do is prioritize Supremacy, please. If you guys remember, Battlefront 2 was like basically dead. And then they added Supremacy and it revived it, and obviously getting rid of the microtransactions, that obviously helped too. But Supremacy is the big popular game mode at this point for Battlefront. I think that's fair to say. So put a lot of resources in the Supremacy. What I mean by that, like more maps, more factions, all that good stuff. And maybe add different versions of Supremacy instead of just you have a ground battle, you go to the Dreadnought, you blow it up, or you go back to the ground. Maybe add some more stuff. Now, what would they change to make it better? Bro, I don't know. I don't work for EA. That's up to them. Okay, a big thing they need to add that I haven't seen that many people talk about, they need to add some more fun party modes like they kind of had in Battlefront 2 with like the Ewok hunt and the jetpacks and rocket launcher game modes, obviously. So if you guys remember in the OG Battlefront 2, they had this game mode where you would play as a Wampa or the Rebels, and a team of Wampas would face off against a team of Rebels. Like, bring that back, please. You could also add like a Dead by Daylight type game mode where you're on like Tantive 4. Somebody plays as Darth Vader and like there's 4 other players that are rebels and they have to survive the night or something of that nature. You could also do something similar with that with like the Wampas as I just mentioned, or like the Rancors in Jabba's palace. Or you could do something with Project Blackwing, where it's like a zombies game mode. Somebody's infected, they have to get someone else infected. Whenever they kill somebody else, they also become infected, and you have to hunt them down until like everybody's infected, or you survive the night, something of that nature. Speaking of Project Blackwing, that'd be a good story for a campaign, but we'll talk about the campaign later, don't worry. They should also add like a pod racing game mode. So you have like 10 players, you do a pod race, there's like Tusken Raiders that can mess it up. You can get items to like throw back, disrupt the other pod racers, like something of that nature. Like that would be so cool, the potential in that. You could even bring in like a gun game mode, where like the more kills you get, the better guns you have, and at like the highest level you get like a lightsaber. Also, oh my god, bring back the survival game mode from Battlefront 1 2015. That was peak. Get like 4 players to survive waves while you get the drop pods, do different tasks, all that. Also, having the prequel era and even the sequels era will make it so much better. My big complaint with the first Battlefront is that you only have the Empire and the Rebels. Like, I'm a prequels guy. I grew up with the prequels. I like the prequels more than the originals. Yes, I said it. I feel like people my age, I'm 16, grew up with the prequels. And so if you invest in the prequels heavily in this game, it could be peak. Like, think about it. People always talk about the Clone Wars Supremacy matches and never the Rebels or the Resistance ones. So something Battlefront 3 needs to do to be an absolute smash hit is focus on the prequel era. Because I feel like most people that are playing the game grew up with the prequels, and so they're obviously going to be biased towards the prequels and they're going to play the Clone Wars game modes more. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why Battlefront 1 was kind of a disappointment, even though I still love that game, don't get me wrong. It could have been so much better, and Battlefront 2 is 100 times better. The game only had stuff from the original trilogy, which I don't get at all. Like, the Clone Wars are perfect for making a game around, which is one of the reasons why Battlefront 2 2017 did super well in my opinion. If Battlefront 2 2017 only had the original trilogy, it probably would have flopped. Which, am I biased for the prequel trilogy? Yes, of course. But still. Another thing they should do is add more class types, or just get rid of the class system in general. Because only 4 class types is kind of crazy, bro, I'm not gonna lie. Unless you want to include the ones that you have to pay points for as class types, then sure, it'll be better. They should add things like a medic, an engineer, support, recon, stuff of that nature. They should also add like a class type that like you just start off with a rocket launcher and a pistol. That'd be kind of cool. Basically a Middle East class type. But keep like the aerial, enforcer types, all that stuff, because that's cool. I love playing as the clone commando. But something they could do is get rid of the class types in general, except for the ones that you have to pay points for, obviously. And just have it be like the Battlefront 1 from 2015, where you pick your weapon, you pick basically everything about your character is customizable. You can kind of view it as like a Call of Duty loadout. Now, my only worry with customizable class types is all those virgin losers that post like good loadouts like they do with Call of Duty, and they absolutely sweat and ruin the game for everybody else. So there's good and bad to having a fully customizable loadout. It would give you the freedom to do like whatever you want, but at the same time, that's also not a good thing sometimes. Or you can just mix the two and have like a class type, but you can change whatever weapon you want. That'd actually be pretty cool. Alright, the next thing we need in Battlefront 3 is an actual good campaign. The OG Battlefront 2 from, 2005 I think? It had a 10 out of 10 perfect campaign. You play as a clone trooper, and then you go through Order 66, and then you're playing as a stormtrooper, and it ends with you being in the Empire and all that. Honestly, if they just want to remake that same storyline, be my guest, do that, because that story is great. But also, as I mentioned earlier, having a Project Blackwing storyline would be fire. Or instead of playing as clones during Order 66, like it was in the OG BF2, you could also play as a Jedi during Order 66 in Battlefront 3. That'd be kind of interesting. Like the whole campaign, you're a Jedi with your clones, and you're doing all these missions, and at the very end of the campaign, you have to fight them, and they eventually kill you. Like, that would be a great storyline. Or you could play as like a bounty hunter doing missions, and you create a storyline there. But please don't make it like Star Wars Outlaws, anything but that. But obviously, if you want to sacrifice the campaign to make all the other modes better, that's completely fine too. A campaign isn't necessary, but if the campaign is good, it'll make the game so much better. They could also add like a tactics mode, like a top-down mode. Me personally, I wouldn't care if they added that. I'm not a big fan of those kinds of games, but I feel like it would be a cool addition. Honestly, EA, why don't you just drop Battlefront 3? It is going to be a free money glitch. Honestly, if you have microtransactions for like cosmetics, I wouldn't even care as long as you just release the game. Honestly, like whenever a multiplayer game comes out, I gotta act like, oh, cosmetics suck. I don't like cosmetics, but deep down, you know, I had to reinstall Fortnite to buy that Johnny Silverhand skin. So I mean, if the cosmetics are good, bro, I don't care. Have at it. Because the cosmetics they had in Battlefront 2 2017 were sick. Most of them are really cool, and Star Wars is like the perfect IP to have sick cosmetics in. And you know EA likes to make an extra buck, so like EA, if you want to make a free money glitch, Just add some cosmetics into Battlefront 3. We know how much you like money and microtransactions. And if you make the loot box system again, then it's just going to kill off Battlefront 3. Don't do that. But cosmetics are fine. I don't have a problem with cosmetics. So yeah, Battlefront 3 has the potential to be the best Star Wars game ever made. It's literally a slam dunk for EA. I hope they realize that at some point. But I get they don't want to pay for the rights for the IP, all that stuff. Who cares, bro? You make the same Madden game every year, just give us a Battlefront game, please. But yeah, let's be real, we are not getting Battlefront 3. Alright, if you guys have another idea of something they need to add into Battlefront 3, comment it down below, because I made this video based purely on memory and things I think would be cool. So again, if you liked the video, you should like, subscribe, all that stuff the YouTubers tell you to do, because I would appreciate it a lot. It would really help me out. Join the Discord if you guys want to. We need more people in there badly. And if you guys watched this far, thank you, it means a lot, and I'll see you guys in the next video.